me okay? Yes, good. I'll wait for a few minutes. I just like to come on a little bit early and make sure everything's working. It's not quite 9 o'clock yet. Come a little bit closer. That's better. I do want to check the sound. Does it sound louder or softer than normal? I haven't got my earphones on this time. I thought it might be better. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. It's always nice when people start coming on and saying hello. Well, I find it's nice. Yeah. 2 more minutes. Hello, hello Tanya, hello Frankie, hello Bettina. Good, thank you. Hi Amy, Patrick, hi Patrick. Oh, you're very good, you always come in and these, that's great. It's good to have some familiar faces. Right, about 1 more minute, 1 more minute. Hello Alvina, hello Kathy. Okay, I might start now. So do know that today I'm going to be doing Auset card readings, oracle card readings first, and then a world peace meditation, healing meditation afterwards. Okay, and I've put it, I know I was doing a distance healing for everyone, but I decided it would be better to really have a world peace meditation. But that will help you too. Because when there's so much unrest and sadness and anger in the world, it makes it very hard for all people, and especially sensitive, psychic sort of people. So, yeah. Hi, Kathy and Alvina. Okay. Everyone's watching. Great. Okay, we'll start. So I'm going, when I do these, I'll ask you to ask me questions, but just make it something simple, you know. I can only read, where there's a lot of questions, I can only sort of see something fairly quickly, and my mind can't get around something. Oh, my pendant fell off. My mind can't get around something that's too complex. Plus, you know, when I'm answering something in public, it can be a little bit difficult. So just ask me something fairly simple, and I'll just be, so obviously I'm using my Auset Egyptian Oracle cards. And I'll just be doing 3 or 4 cards, and the way I do them is I just shuffle the question into them and think about the question, then put the cards out, 1, 2, 3, and if I don't feel I've got enough answers, I'll do another one. So the way this one works, we've got Min coming up. That's for the past or the lead up to the question. That's for the present time. Then we have the future or outcome of the question. That's a longer term outcome. And so that's if something, I can't get an answer in 3 cards, or I feel I want to answer it on a short level and a long-term level. That's how I do it. I find that works very well. It's my future, looking good. I'll write the name down here, because otherwise by the time I do the reading I've got the forgotten person's name. Okay, I'll do you, Kim, and so calling a goddess Auset first. I mean, she's already here, I've called her in, and all the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Asking that I'll be able to give clear, accurate and helpful readings today. So that's, you want to know, is your future looking good? Okay, so this is for Kim, who wanted to know about is her future looking good. I did it also with the thought in my mind, what you need to know about the future, because otherwise I'll say, no, the future's no good, that's it, bad luck, or it's very good. So it's always better to, what would be best for you to know, really. And as a lead up or past card, I get Skara, and that's spiritual transformation. So that usually comes up when people are on a spiritual path or have had some spiritual experience. So that's always a very positive card to have. And then at the moment, Nuit comes up. And Nuit's a goddess of the sky and protection, but she's also a goddess to do with delays and things taking a while. And if you were doing a full reading, I'd be looking at your numerology and the astrology at the moment. Yeah, all those things. So all those things can affect us. So for you, things that you want to happen aren't going to happen just straight away, okay? But they're happening. And then the near future, we get sarcophagus. And again, that's a good card. But you'll notice down there it says initiate. Well, if you could read it, it says initiation. So you're going through some test of initiation. So again, all that you desire isn't going to suddenly happen in the next month or so. But it's a very positive card on a spiritual level. And the outcome is a Silket, magical protection. So that's she's an amazing goddess, very strong, protective goddess. So she's saying, yeah, you will get there. You've still got some time to achieve all you want to do, and it's going to be a little bit of personal effort and struggle that gets you through, but you will get there, and all the gods and goddesses, especially the goddess Silket, will be there protecting you. Okay? Thank you. Emma would like a card, please. Okay, I'll give you 3 cards then. I'll just shuffle a little bit. I shuffle in a strange way, but it's how the deities guide me and Auset guides me. That's very strange. I did shuffle them. This happens quite a lot actually when I'm doing readings like this. It's quite strange. So you get sarcophagus. So you've been going through a test, a testing time, but a spiritual test, which is always good when you're past it. And Silket, spiritual protection. So you're spiritually protected. It's the cards that 3 came up earlier. And then Nuit, stars and timing. So again, all that you want isn't quite going to happen immediately, but it will happen. So I find when I'm doing readings like this, often there's a theme amongst all people. And I think this is because at the moment the world's going through a difficult time. We've had COVID and all the unrest and unhappiness, especially in the United States. And everyone's all over the place. And so it's making a difficult energy, and astrologically it's quite complex as well. I don't understand astrology completely, but astrologically it's complex. So this just means that, things are going to be good with you on a spiritual level, but there's still some quiet time and meditation needed before you achieve all you desire and all you deserve. Okay? Okay. If you have time, okay, I'll just do you, Nicole, whatever. I'll just do 3 cards. Wow, that's lovely. So you've got Hathor as a leader card. She's the goddess of love and emotions and emotional healing. She's a beautiful goddess of abundance. So that's very good. She's very close to you, Hathor, and she likes to look after you and all the work you do. And at the present time, Great Pyramid, alchemy, and also things taking time. And again, the pyramid's been there for a long, long time, almost 50,000 years. So again, your life is going to go a little bit slowly, but it is progressing a lot on a spiritual level. And Damutef, Earth Spirit. Okay, so this means for your future too, it's going to take a little bit of time you have to be really sort of focused and grounded in the next month or two. And when you do that, you'll get through any family dramas or any challenges you're having at the moment. So your cards are really good. It's just that, again, everything's taking time. And Damutef is being the Earth card. It always means things taking time. Okay. Christine wants to know if Auset's her Egyptian goddess. Well, Auset's goddess of healing, prophecy. She's many people follow Auset, and we don't just have one goddess. We have gods and goddesses with us. But I do understand where Auset's the main goddess I work with. So I'll see if this is for you, or if there's someone else really wants to come in for you. Yeah, Sardas is here. She's not a very well-known goddess. So Auset is with you, but at the moment Auset and Satyrs are equal. So Satyrs, she's not well known, as I said, fertility, unsatisfaction. She's goddess where the Nile River starts, and she's to do with flow and abundance and all good things. So yeah, that's a beautiful card to have. So I do believe you've also got Hathor with you. So you've got Hathor, Satyrs and Auset. And I do believe, Auset's the main one, but these other goddesses are doing a lot as well for you. And here we've got Tahuti, Akashic Records. And if you looked into your Akashic Records, you'd find you had a lot of lives in Egypt. Many, many lives in very ancient times, like 40,000 years ago, and like 5 or 10,000 years ago as well. Thank you. So I've lost some of the questions, so you'll have to put a question in, people. They just disappear before I can get to them sometimes, which is a bit frustrating. any message for you. I've lost that one. Fate. Yeah, that's right. Any guidance. Okay. So with you, I'm talking about a relationship, a very positive soulmate relationship. That's in the lead up. And then they're saying Cobra comes up, divine awakening. So this is a spiritual awakening card, but it's also saying perhaps the spiritual awakening isn't so easy. It can also indicate Kundalini activation, which it can be good, but it can be a little bit overwhelming at times. And then we get Cyber, rest and endings. And something in your life is completing. And here we've got Nekbet. She's a beautiful goddess of protection, so she's looking after you. So I can't say again that life's going to be perfect instantly, but you've got a lot of gods and goddesses, and not just these gods and goddesses, other deities looking after you. And any relationship your love relationship might be a little bit difficult at the moment, but it will settle out. Okay, it will resolve. Thank you. Karen wants a reading, please, for guidance. All right, what does Karen need to know? Ah, beautiful. You've got Tarat, she's goddess of pregnancy and birth, so that's in the past. Imset comes up at the moment, and he's an air spirit. So a lot of you're very busy in your mind trying to decide this, that, the other, but that's okay. And in the near future, you get Bast, joy and pleasure. So she's a beautiful goddess to do with love relationships. So if you're looking for a new partner or lover, Bast will come along and help you. But it's usually not a long-term relationship, but it's always good. Or else you need to just relax and take it easy and just be like a cat and enjoy life. Yeah, okay? Thank you. All right, Alvina wants a card reading. All right. Okay, Alvina. We get a Munra in the past. So, he's a god of miracles and healing. So that's always a wonderful card to have. And then we get Min, fertility and creation. He's a creation god. And he's also got, you see him there and you think, oh, that's a bit rude. But it's also to do with energies and spiritual energies and Kundalini type energies. And then we got Sekhmet, change and healing. So Sekhmet, as you know, always brings in change. And sometimes change isn't, you don't feel it's positive, but I feel something that's been causing you concern for a long time is going to release. And after that releases, you'll see a great difference in your life, okay? And I do believe that soon a Manra will be coming in the future as well for you, okay? And many changes coming up for you, which are positive ones. Okay, who was a love reading? We'll just ask a little bit more specific, a love reading. All right, I'll just do a love reading. But if a loved one, will my boyfriend leave me or something, it's probably a little bit easier than just a love reading. But I'll see if someone's coming into your life. I'm doing them quickly. I don't have the time to meditate and channel the goddesses so much. or not now. No one's coming along now. Or if they are there, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So Ptah comes up here, and he's the bigger picture. He's the God of the universe, Ptah, and he's an amazing God. And then Set comes up, and this is challenges. And when this card comes up, you feel like everything's a struggle. And, you look at the bright sun and you're out in the desert, just one tree. You'll get there eventually, but it's not easy for a love relationship. And then we get Blue Lotus, which is beautiful. And again, the Blue Lotus is enlightenment and spiritual awareness. And I think this is what you're needing in your relationship. You're needing a more spiritual love relationship. So I think for now, hold on, and someone is coming. But whatever situation you're in now, it'd be a good idea to do some karmic release and some letting go of it, okay? And Felicity just wants one card. All right, I'll just do one card for you. Amon Ra. This is wonderful. You couldn't ask for a better card. It's miracles, healing, abundance, and I'll see if he's got a message for you. Dear one, we are the God of prophecy. Remember, you too are a prophet, so please use your energy and time wisely. Thank you. Okay, so that's a little message to for you on your spiritual path. Any guidance for Sue? Okay. I have to keep a track of time. Okay. Well, see, you've got Damietef in the past, and that's the earth energy, so things have been a little bit slow for you in your life. And I guess that's the way it has been for a lot of us, sort of having to isolate and not do all the things we want to do. And then Kanam, Creator God, comes up. And I'm sure I saw a Facebook post something about having a new grandchild or something like that. So this one comes up about that. So the gods have been working hard with you and your family. And it's going to be a very interesting baby, this latest baby. And sarcophagus, that's a little bit spiritual test again. And then Silkat protecting you. And I'll see what, I don't often channel Kanam. And Kanam just says, wait, dear one, all will be well, okay? So there's something that's worrying you and it will be okay, it will be fine. Thank you. Guidance for you. This is for Lay. I didn't quite get the rest of the name. What do you need to know? What does Auset want you to know? Auset's hiding. She hasn't come up in the readings. That's very strange. Okay. You've got Silkat, magical protection, and Cobra, divine awakening, and that's an awakening that, a spiritual awakening that might be causing you a little bit of discomfort. You're not sure what it's all about, but it's a spiritual awakening. And it's good to have some healing, energy healing, or practice some yoga and do all these things. And you might have some back problems, and it's an energy difficulty. So some healing, energy healing would be the best solution for that. And then Sabat, rest and endings. So something is ending in your life, but you'll find it's actually a good thing to end. And again, you get neck back. I'm going to hide these cards. All the same cards are coming up. and you're spiritually protected. And so yeah, it is a little bit of a challenging time, but in 3 months everything will be really good again. Okay, I'll hide those. Oh, I'm putting them out and I haven't looked. Rosemary, do I need to know anything for my next journey? I'll do that. This is for Rosemary, I think. Okay. You've got Horus, slow victory. That's, again, going through a little bit of a difficult time. That's Horus, who is the son of Auset, and it took a long time for him to be Pharaoh. He was meant to be Pharaoh. And so something that you're wanting to do or should have been received hasn't been happening. And then Syrian star comes up. Syrian star obviously is to do with Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. And his message to you is to lighten up and have some fun and call in the Syrian beings. And he'd love to talk to you, okay? And Auset comes up for you. That's wonderful. And she says, keep on your spiritual path. You are a long way on your spiritual path, but there will always be more for you, okay? And she's always a very positive card. You should go to Egypt if you haven't been to Egypt, okay? Let me see. I'll just do one more, then I'll finish, okay? Amanda likes some guidance, okay. Okay, Sphinx comes up. So this thing's taking a long time, and it seems not much has been happening, but there is a lot happening on the spiritual level. Then Anubis comes up, guide and protector, and he's a wonderful god to have. He's always looking out for people. He's the god I always ask to look after my house, my business, anything that I'm concerned about, he will look after for you. So it's good to invoke him, ask him, Anubis, to help you, and he'll keep you very, very safe. And now Ra, creative power. And this is something that tests you a little bit. And, you know, you want to do something and people are saying you can't do it, especially some authority is saying that. And it's a bit like, you know, you can't do this because we're still on restrictions. I think it's something like that that's affecting you. But if we look a little bit further, it's fine. This is Geb, he's the earth god, and you'll be able to go out and do all the things you want to do with him. Okay? Okay, that's it. All right, I'll just do one. Gail, any messages, please? Primitive, a spirit, and this is what they want me to do. So again, things are being slow for you. That Great Pyramid, things taking a long, long time. But this says that you should do more in a spiritual path, studying spiritual things. And you'd be a good healer or teacher in this area. You've had past lives in Egypt. You've been initiated in the Great Pyramid of Egypt. So yeah, it's a beautiful card, this one. And Kanam, the Creator God. And he wants to be with you to create things for you. You've been a little bit slow in the creative side, and he's got lots of little projects he'd like to work on with you. Okay? Spiritual sort of projects, I think. Okay, thank you. That's it. Yes, it's hard just to do them quickly and spend the time with people, but I think people still get the messages from them. And they're easily available, the Auset cards. You can get them all over the world on Amazon, but in Australia, Booktopia have them, and or Terapia have them. Okay, now I want to talk about this world peace meditation. As I said, I was doing a meditation for everyone, a healing meditation, but I decided I want to do it a little bit more specifically. But I don't want to get too involved in things. At the moment, we've just got over, well, we haven't got over COVID, some of us have, but, and then in US, it's all the race riots and everyone, they should do this, they should do that, they haven't done the right thing. And I do know that, I do understand that, but I'm not getting into that. I think it's all about healing these difficulties and this stress and the wounding. So I think this is the problem when you get into discrimination and racism, is healing the wounds. That's the most important thing. And then everyone can move forward. But it's not so easy to heal all the wounds. It really, really isn't. And most people have been wounded in some way, or their family has. And so I'll tell you a little bit about my story and my wounding as such, and how it's affected me, because it means that a lot of people have a lot more dramas than me and they're a lot more affected. So this is why you think, well, why don't they just all calm down? There are people who are writing and go home and just let it go or something. But it's that deep wounding. So I trained as a registered nurse and I went overseas and lived for a couple of years and worked. And I also lived in Israel for a while on a kibbutz. I wanted to live on a kibbutz with the Jewish people. And there were no Jewish people in my background, but I loved to be with the Jewish people. And I loved working on a kibbutz. And then I went into the town of Bethlehem one day and I met this lovely young Arab man. And we fell in love. And that was the end of living on a kibbutz. So, and I thought, why does it have to be like this? I love to be with the Jewish people, but now, so anyway, that was that, and I let that go, but that was my first sort of real experience of problems like this. And then I went home and I did my midwifery training in Adelaide, my nursing and midwifery, and then I met this young man that I fell in love with, and he was Malaysian Indian. He's my ex-husband now, he died last year. And but we'd been separated a long, long time. And so I fell in love with him, and he wanted us to be together. And I thought, okay, I don't think I'd want to marry you, but I'd love to just be with you. So we thought we'd get a house together, or a unit, a flat together. And then I discovered it wasn't so easy, because we weren't married, he was black, I was white, and no one would rent. This is just in Adelaide. No one would rent somewhere. Eventually we found somewhere, but it was very expensive. And I was like, oh, I hadn't expected this. I just hadn't expected it. And then my father got very sick, and he had a lot of problems. He was alcoholic, and he got very sick, and then he died. And my parents hadn't been happy that I was living with Bainu. They really didn't, but they didn't say much to me, because they knew I always sort of went my own way, so they thought they wouldn't say too much. And then at the funeral, my mother turned around to me and said in an angry voice, well, you killed your father. You were living with a black man, and that's it. You killed him. Oh my God. And when you're younger, you tend to believe that you've done all this harm. Knowing as a person who studied a lot of alcohol problems and an addiction counsellor, it's not my problems and my recent problems that caused him to die. But then there was even more. So a few days later, I had to go back to work at the hospital. And unfortunately, my father had died at the hospital where I was working at that stage. And so it was a few days after the funeral, and I wasn't feeling that good, but I was okay, and I went back to work. And I walked into the sort of nurse's station, and people were just looking at me, and I thought, oh, what's wrong, you know? If anything, I thought they'd say, oh, you know, how are you, or something. No one said anything. Someone said, you'll have to go and to the office and speak to the matron straight away. You can't start duty now. I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. So I go along to matron's office, and she said, oh, you look a bit depressed, you don't look very good. And I said, well, my father's just died, and the funeral was a few days ago. And he said, well, you don't look good. And you know, I've heard also that you're living with a black man. And we don't think this is suitable for you to be living with a black man and coming to work and looking after mothers and babies. And evidently my father had been talking a lot before he died. He was very confused, and he was talking about me causing all these problems. And, which, as I said, he'd had problems before I was born, I think. All these things, and that I did the worst thing, living with a black man. And so she said, well, we can't have you here anymore. And I said, well, that doesn't seem fair. And she said, well, go, if you'd like to see a psychiatrist and get a full report that you're fit and able to work, we'll consider it. Yeah. So I did that. I got my psychiatric report, which was fine. And then I went back and I gave her, the matron, the psychiatric report, said I was fine, and my resignation, and left. Because I realised it was going to be very, very uncomfortable working at that hospital, and left. But by that time I was really devastated. It was something I hadn't expected. And yeah, it still makes me go, when I think about it. But I still soon got another job, and eventually Vano and I married, and yeah, I let it behind me. But when you have a big, you know, that was just a couple of events for me. But when you have continuous events, you know, people get very, very wounded, and it's very hard to for them to heal in a short period of time. And I think in a place like USA, you know, so many people have been wounded in one way or the other, you know, emotional wounding. And so what can we do about it? It's not so easy, but I find healing and energy healing is about the best thing. And one more final story. So I had a daughter, and she obviously is Eurasian. She went on to become a doctor. And one day I got a phone call from her one night, and she was distraught. She was during her first year of in the hospital. She'd finished her training, and she also had to go out to the country, in Queensland. And country Queensland is like rodeo country. Everyone eats lots of meat and drinks, and males are the things. And as she was working at the hospital, she had a lot of problems. She was vegetarian, and she was Indian, and she's female. So they just ignored her. She would ask the nurses to do something, and they would just walk away and would refuse to do it. And she was distraught. What do I do? You know, how can I solve this problem? You know, who can I tell? So she told her mother, of course. And I said, well, don't worry, I'll ask the angels to help you. So I did a big meditation, sent a healing to her, and she was very worried about the patients as well. And I rang the next night, and I got straight onto her, which was strange. Usually she was very busy, even late at night. And she said, oh, guess what? All the patients got discharged today. There's no one here. No patients in the hospital, and all the nurses were nice to me today. I thought, oh, wow. I was so excited. So then I realised what I'd done is I sent healing to all the nurses, and, you know, I could see they were very stressed, and they were probably tired of new staff and new doctors coming in. They'd be there for a month or two, then they'd disappear, so they just had this attitude. There were a lot of lost souls in the hospital, and so I cleared all the lost souls, sent healing to patients so they'd all be well. And yeah, so that was the result. It was like a miracle. And so I thought, wow, perhaps this is the solution. And I do feel these sort of things are the solution. That, it's very hard to do talking and resolve everything by talking. So we just have to call on the angels, the deities, and ask for miracles for people. And yeah. Oh, thank you for saying I love to listen to you. I like to tell little stories. Got lots of little stories. I've had an interesting life, which is good. I've done lots of things in my life. And I'm going to put my sacred frankincense on. So if you'd all get comfortable, and we'll start the meditation. Now, my voice does tend to disappear off when I'm doing channeling, and I always channel these meditations. So I'll try and stay up close here and talk up loud. Okay, so I hope this works. So we call on Goddess Auset. And as I said, I'm going to ask for all the mother goddesses. So what do you do when you're in trouble? You call your mother, don't you? So we're calling on all the mother goddesses. So Auset comes in, the goddess of healing and prophecy. And then we call on Kuan Yin, the beautiful goddess of compassion, the Buddhist goddess of compassion and healing. We thank Kuan Yin. And we call on Sarasvati, the Hindu goddess of healing and works with your mind and intelligence and healing the mind. And we call on Mother Mary. And Mary is another beautiful goddess. And I see her as separate from any religion. And and Auset was actually, Mother Mary was actually a priestess of Auset. People don't realise that, or priestess of Isis. So she was highly trained in those things in Egypt. So it's best if you just let things go now and sit quietly. And you call in for yourself Goddess Auset, Goddess Kuan Yin, Goddess Sarasvati, and Mother Mary. And we're also calling in many deities who wish to assist us, and many archangels who wish to assist us. Especially Archangel Metatron. He's a very highly evolved angel, keeper of the Akashic records. And they're all gathered around. And if you imagine like a globe, and you see way above us many, many archangels, and a little bit closer to us, the mother goddesses. And we're going to ask the mother goddesses for help. Dear Auset, please give us guidance what we should do to help this situation for ourselves and for many people. We want the world to be at peace. Peace will be a time coming, dear one. Peace will be a time coming. Is it a hard lesson for you all on the earth plane? It is a very hard lesson for you all. But healing is possible, healing of all people. It would not happen in this next 10 years, but you will discover in 15 years there will be a remarkable change on earth. It will not be the terrible earth that everyone talks about. It will be a much better earth. Yeah. So this is possible. And also going to call on Hamiet, Archangel of Miracles, and we're asking him for a healing, please, a healing miracle for people. And just imagine, first of all, you're going to heal yourself. And you feel the archangels gathered around you. And then you look and you see Hamiet, Angel of Miracles, in front of you. And then you see Auset in front of you. You see Kuan Yin, Mary, and Sarasvati in front of you, and you're asking them, please assist you. You don't know what to do to help heal the world. And they all smile and say, give us your problems, give us your cares, give us your concerns, so we can find solutions for you. We also call on Ptah, the creator God of the universe. And so just let your problems go. Should you do this? Should you do that? Good. And now visualize United States. And as you visualize United States, you probably get a sense of quite a lot of chaos and unrest there. And see a whole band of archangels descending, beautiful healing angels. And these angels are white, black, yellow, brown, as they should be. And you sense they are clearing many difficult energies. They're taking away many lost souls. There's so many of them, thousands and thousands of them. And you didn't know they all existed, but they do. And we're asking them to please continue to clear the difficult energies, the lost souls, the fear and the anger from people. So the archangels are doing that. And you get a sense of a lot of things being released. And then above the people, if you imagine some people there, and just above them you'll see a lot of big cloud of yellow and grey energy. It's like haze, it's yellow haze. It's created by the coronavirus and by all that upset and anger. And now the goddesses come in, and they're all sending energy. They're sending pale blue energy to the sky, to the atmosphere above us. And they're all projecting. And Kuan Yin is sending a violet energy, actually. Auset sends blue. Sarasvati sends more a blue-green. And Mary sends a pale blue. And you feel this beautiful healing energy filling in. It's like clouds, huge clouds, but it's light and iridescent. And as you visualize that, clearing the atmosphere, clearing the cities, clearing all of the United States, and just allow it to keep happening for a few minutes. And then finally Kuan Yin comes in, and she puts a violet flame right through the whole country, a violet flame. And this is a cold flame. It won't hurt or burn anyone. Then you're aware of, it looks like it's a light, but it's just energy. And it's transmuting all that is negative into positive. And then in your mind, see people just a little way in the future. So a week in advance. And you realise all the energy clearing has helped. And Mother Mary especially and Goddess Auset are coming and sending pink energy, love energy to everybody. Especially the police and all those who have been hurt. Everyone needs healing. And you feel like a release of emotions, a sadness. And then you start to feel everything is clearing. And the healing has started. Now we ask for the next 7 nights, the angels and the goddesses visit anyone who is open to their presence or who would not object to their presence to come and help them each night as they sleep. And you will discover many people seeming to have spiritual experiences, having beautiful dreams, waking up after having a beautiful dream and suddenly, my goodness, I have to look at things. Perhaps I need to change my mind about things. And you see a great spiritual awareness, great joy spreading throughout the United States. And then sometime in the future, not that far, you see people sort of smiling and hugging each other, all races, all nationalities. And there was a sense of joy, kinship, friendship. The situations have resolved. And now you see that beautiful energy spreading all around the world. See the world as a globe. And again, all the archangels are around the world and they're radiating peace, blue, peaceful energy. And then some come and send pink energy. And you're aware of the gods and goddesses. And especially Goddess Auset. She works at a much higher level than you can imagine. And she's starting to spread this healing blue energy throughout the world to everybody. It's beautiful indigo blue energy. And it's like people start to breathe in this energy and they sense something, and it's like drinking in something and that feels good. Then you're aware of Goddess Sarasvati all over the world, flowing her beautiful aqua energy. And as she flows the aqua energy around, she comes and she visits you and many people at night, and she whispers words into your ear and thoughts into your mind. And the thoughts are of love and joy and peace. And Kuan Yin is there again, the goddess of compassion. And Kuan Yin forgives everyone. She cares for everybody. And that's very special when you can do that. So see everybody, including yourself, having a great sense of compassion and understanding for people who've been through difficult situations, no matter what they've done. We are all wounded healers on the earth. And people start to forgive each other and understand situations. And finally, Mother Mary, with a beautiful, loving, blue, pale blue energy. As a person living on the earth, she experienced great trauma, great sadness. But she overcame that and remained loving and peaceful. And this is a time when people should join more in meditation, sending healing energies, not just to their loved ones, but to many, many people. And this is the way the world will heal. And now finally the goddesses come and are working on you. They're washing away all darkness, sadness, anything that might have affected you. In this regard. Kuan Yin puts that violet flame through you. As the violet flame goes through you, it clears away all the anger and fear and emotion. It transforms it, transmutes it into positive energy. Then you're aware of Goddess Sarasvati, and she promises you each night for the next 7 nights she will come and she will work with your mind, your emotions and your dreams to give you insights for healing yourself, understanding yourself, and ultimately understanding many other people. And then Mary is with you, and Jesus, and they just seem to bow and send energy and peace to you. Remembering that the goddesses are all one in fact, and the same as we are all one. And connecting up with the highest part of our minds, our superconscious minds, our souls. And feeling that sense of release. And also, now Auset is showing you, she's the goddess of prophecy, beautiful things starting to manifest in your life from today onwards. And over the next month and months, your life is changing. Perhaps not in a material way, but on understanding and having compassion for yourself and others. It will bring you great peace and joy. All the while, the angels are celebrating. There's great joy on heaven and earth. And this will be so. Thank you. When you're ready, you can come back. Hello. Could you hear me? I hope so. My voice didn't disappear too much. See if that, okay. All right, so that's about all I've got for you tonight. If you've got any questions, not readings, but any questions, we are able to follow it. Yeah. And it might not be perfect. It's hard to do a meditation for everyone on Facebook, but I think I sense that most people could understand it and work with it. And I do believe this is the way forward, the compassion and love, and it's important. And I also do find that, you know, when I look at the world, it's not this terrible world everyone's expecting. in the future. Thank you, everyone. I say it was good. It was beautiful. Thank you. So I always do these in the evening, these meditations, so that hopefully you'll go to bed and have all those gods and goddesses with you and angels with you doing healing. And remember, once I've called them in for you, even if some of them you didn't connect with before, they'll be there for you. You can do a little bit more research on them, ask them to be with you, and they will be. Now, I'm going to do one more meditation next week. I'm going to work with the angels and the archangels and Auset still. I always work with Auset. And this will be a healing for yourself, and just do a few little readings. And that will be the end of my Facebook Lives for a while. I will do something more in the future, but that's the end for now. Yeah. Who was the one at the end you mentioned will help us for months? I think it was Goddess Sarasvati. She'll work with your mind. Okay. Because I channel that, I really can't remember much when I finish. I can't remember much when I finish. But yeah, that's a problem when you're in and out of trance all the time. But because I am a trance channel, the gods and goddesses do actually come when I'm doing that, and that's what brings in all the energy. And there's no time and no space, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can feel the energies. Yeah. Oh, thank you. People say they've enjoyed my Facebook Lives. I was so scared to do it. I was petrified, so it's been a big thing for me to do it. So I'm very pleased with myself, which is good. And I will do more. I just need to look at how I will do things. I don't work so well on Zoom. Zoom and I have a sort of just average sort of relationship, but I'm fine with Facebook Live, so yeah. All right, I think that's it. And if anyone's got any final question or comment, you could put it now. Otherwise, I'll see you 9 o'clock next Thursday. And obviously it might change if something crops up before then. But at the moment it's mainly working with the archangels, because I realised I sort of forgot about the archangels. Well, I didn't forget, but there's so many things and beings of light to work with. It's sort of, they all have to take their turns a little bit, but yeah. It's my great joy to work with them all. You could feel the energy? Good. So I think you'll all have some healing from that as well. And that's the way it works. Once you're healed, you can heal the world. Hi, Jenny. Good night. Thank you. And good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Now I have to put this on.